What are you playing, Shane?
I'm playing New Super Mario Time Wii U 2.
You're still playing the Wii U? Don't you know there's a new console coming out? Kinda soon, but not really. The time that this video was made, at least.
Is there really? I had no idea until just now. Thanks, buddy.
No problem, guy.
Well, it's about time. The Wii U's been out forever. It's been out for years and years and years, and Nintendo's just been milking it. Might as well call it the PU.
No, but seriously, we like the Wii U. It was a fun console. Okay, now we're going back into character.
I'll be honest with you. I'm still skeptical. How's the new Nintendo console gonna be better than the current one?
That's why we're making a video about it right now, asshole! Let's just start.
Okay, so Nintendo kinda botched it with the Wii U. Don't get me wrong, I personally think the console was pretty decent, but it definitely didn't share the same success as the Wii for a plethora of reasons that if we talked about them all, it'd be an entirely different video. Since the Wii U was so underwhelming, Nintendo basically cut their losses, said fuck it, and started over with an entirely new console. It's been a few years now since Nintendo confirmed they're working on a new console, but currently very little is actually known about it other than the fact that it exists. There's no photos of the console, the controller, or even gameplay footage except for one video online that shows a few minutes of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You can watch that by clicking the annotation or the link in the description. And while speculation is good for building anticipation, a lot of people are skeptical that Nintendo's new console will be a success, since the Wii U sat on a big pile of unfulfilled promises, and the Wii before it pretty much just got lucky with the casual audience that they can't rely on anymore. However, not everybody's a pessimist about the matter, thanks to a few rumors surrounding the system, with some having more evidence than others. And assuming all the most prominent rumors are true, I think Nintendo's next home console, codenamed NX, has the potential to be their biggest home console success to date. I know there's big words, but I have to stress that this is assuming the rumors and speculation are all true. And if they are just rumors, then this video is gonna look really stupid if people watch it in the future. And just a disclaimer, I have a PS4 and Shane has an Xbox One. This optimistic Nintendo video doesn't mean that we hate Sony or Microsoft. Well, I mean, I don't really like Microsoft because my 360 red ringed, and apparently I'm the only one in the world that thinks it's lame to have a 50% rate of consoles breaking. And I don't really care about Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball.
Cameron?
Sorry. Here's the top 10 reasons why the NX will be a success, assuming the rumors are true. Number 10. Yeah, I can only think of 9 reasons for this list, and I figured if the 10th reason was gonna be something stupid that I just made up for the hell of it, then I might as well make it ridiculous. I'm not gonna call it a top 9 list. Number 9. Cartridges. This rumor is all but officially confirmed with the patent of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild stating that the game will be on a disc and a cartridge. How will this help the NX be successful? Because everybody loves cartridges, you dummy, even if they're as small as an SD card. Just like my Pete. Number 8. It's cool to like Nintendo again. This one is just from my speculation and not necessarily anything I've read online, but during the GameCube days, it seemed like whenever I told somebody I had one, they just laughed at me like I was a stupid little bitch boy, which is one reason why I feel the GameCube didn't do so well. During the GameCube days, a lot of people that grew up with Nintendo were at that age where they felt like they needed to act older, and the idea of going on rampages in Grand Theft Auto or watching R-rated movies on their DVDs felt like something they should have been doing, as opposed to playing games that happened to be family-friendly. But these days, everybody seems to like Nintendo again, and people are done pretending not to remember the names of Pokemon. Think about the success of Pokemon Go, Amiibos, Miitomo, and even the NES Mini that's already selling out before it's available and being scalped out the ass on eBay. People love Nintendo, and as long as those same people are aware of what the NX has to offer and that it even exists, then the Big N just might see the same success in the home console market once again. You know, as long as it's good, but we'll get to that. Number 7. Nobody gives a shit that Nintendo abandoned the Wii U. Some people think that by giving up on the Wii U, Nintendo's built a lot of ill will with fans, but the average person doesn't even know what the Wii U is. I honestly think that more than half of people who actually play video games regularly even knew the Wii U was a successor console to the Wii and not just a gamepad add-on. And besides, Microsoft and Sony are pretty much releasing new consoles halfway through the lifespans of the PS4 and Xbox One anyway, so why would anybody hold a grudge against Nintendo for doing the same thing? Sure, backwards compatibility with the Wii U and NX might be a sore spot, but did anybody in America care that the Genesis wasn't backwards compatible with the Master System? Why did Sega make this thing anyway? Nobody even knew what the Master System was, just like how nobody even knows what the Wii U is. And for the people who did buy a Wii U, I think the console had just enough time on the market with a decent selection of games to where you can't really be mad at Nintendo. Even if some people are salty, not that many people even bought the Wii U to begin with, and nobody will fear of the NX doing the same thing because nobody even knows what the Wii U is. Do you get what I'm throwing at you? Yeah? Alright. Number 6. Graphics matter less now than ever before.
What the fuck did you say?
This one's in regards to a negative rumor about the NX that the graphics still won't be up to par with the PS4 Pro and much less Microsoft's Project Scorpio. I doubt this will negatively affect the NX too badly though, because I think that video games got to a point in the 7th generation of consoles where even the worst looking video games look good enough at the very least. Sure, graphics can and did improve in the 8th generation of consoles, but there isn't a whole lot you can do with the PS4 and Xbox One that you can't do with the PS3 and Xbox 360. And the new types of games you play are almost the exact same as the older consoles. Just look at all the newer releases there are and how many of them are on the old consoles as well. And the graphical differences between the newer and older versions are usually not that big of a deal. If the NX is underpowered compared to the PS4 Pro and codenamed Scorpio, I doubt the average person will even notice or care as long as the games are fun. And come on, it's Nintendo. They have a pretty good track record as far as gameplay being fun is concerned. If 4K becomes a big thing and the NX isn't compatible though, that might be an entirely different story. Number 5. The NX won't focus on the casual gaming market. Well, this one isn't entirely true if that whole quality of life thing is related to the NX. And Nintendo itself is still focusing on the casual market with mobile apps. But it seems like they're smart enough to realize that the casual market and people who play video games want two completely different things. There is no such thing as a casual gamer. Casual gamers mostly consist of dads playing mindless bullshit on their cell phones while taking a dump or waiting in line. And there's nothing wrong with mindless bullshit. But people who are only into that kind of thing won't try to play a single-player campaign in a game like Uncharted or Zelda. Sure, they may have impulse bought some Wiis and played Wii Sports for like 10 minutes, but that's because Angry Birds didn't exist back then. Nintendo not only putting games on mobile devices, but being smart enough to make them different types of games is a pretty good move, and shows that they're well aware that there's two different kinds of people to cater to in different ways. Anyway, there isn't really solid proof that Nintendo said they won't worry too much about the casual market. But if the rumors surrounding the NX are all true, then the reasons on this list are also true, which would make this point true as well. Yeah! Number 4. Nintendo will finally get proper third-party support. Word on the street is that third-party developers love working with the NX, and there's a reason why I think they mean it this time around. But I'll get more into that later on this list. If it is true though, and Nintendo can offer most of the same games that Sony and Microsoft are offering in addition to its own badass list of first-party titles, then the NX is gonna rip ass all over the place as long as the graphics are more or less on the same level. And like I said before, in today's day and age, everything looks fine, and I don't think the average person really cares as long as the graphical difference isn't too substantial, which I don't think it will be. As much as people love Nintendo, some people, mainly kids if you think about it, do associate the company as being more for kids. But if you can get games like Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty to run more or less the same, then why not get the console that also has Zelda, Mario, and all that good stuff? Number 3. They'll come up with a better name and market it correctly. There's no direct rumors that point to this. In fact, naming the new 3DS model literally the new 3DS implies that the NX will be called something stupid like the new Wii U. But how could they not realize how important it is to name and market their new console a lot better this time around? If the NX has a super badass and cool name that doesn't confuse people like the Wii U did, then it could be the talk of the town. For Nintendo's sake, I hope they figured out how to let people know what their new console is and why they should get it, which one would think and hope that they've learned by now. Number 2. They're gonna have an amazing launch lineup. I'm not sure whether or not I'm the only one who's speculating this, but it seems obvious as hell to me that there's gonna be an impressive launch for the NX. Think about it. What big games have Nintendo been working on or talking about lately? Just like the NX itself, nobody knows anything about it. And you can bet that these games aren't gonna be for the Wii U or 3DS. Sure, Breath of the Wild and Sun and Moon are big games coming out for the Wii U and 3DS, but Breath of the Wild's also coming out for the NX, and they've been working on Sun and Moon for so long that they might as well just finish it up for the console it was intended for. And everything else they've announced for the current generation of consoles are pretty much just ports. Maybe I'm just getting my hopes up, but could it be the reason why we haven't heard anything about a new Metroid game is because they wanted to save it for the NX? We know for sure they're working on a new Mario game, and this has nothing to do with any rumors or anything, but just something I want. What if instead of Mario Kart, they made Nintendo Kart? Kinda like what they dipped their feet in with on Mario Kart 8's DLC. But it'd be cool to have more third-party involvement. And what about that Retro Studios game they talked about a few years ago that everybody wants them to make? I really don't think the game they were talking about was Tropical Freeze, as great as that game was. It would make sense to keep all this a secret and then dump it all over everybody right when they reveal the NX officially. And when everybody gets excited for it, then third-party developers are bound to be right behind it, which is one of the reasons why I think Nintendo will surely get the third-party support it's needed for so long on home consoles. And the other main reason why I think Nintendo will definitely have third-party support is also the number one reason why I think the NX will be successful. So could we cut to that, please? Karen? Karen, what the fuck? Number 1. Nintendo is eliminating its own biggest competition, itself? One of the biggest rumors surrounding the NX is that it's going to be both a home console as well as a portable handheld, and if that rumor is true, then Nintendo will no longer split the sales of its handheld and home console, thus eliminating its own worst competition, itself. I've talked about this in our Wii U vs 3DS video, but I'll elaborate more on it here. Even though Nintendo isn't always number 1 as far as home console sales are concerned, their handheld systems have always dominated, with nobody ever coming close to knocking them off the top of the mountain despite more powerful hardware being available. Sure, mobile devices may have taken away some of the casual market, and by that I mostly mean the 3 to 6 year olds that you saw with handhelds that didn't really know what they were doing anyway, bless their little hearts. Random dads were never buying handhelds to begin with, so it's really only the 3 to 6 year olds. But mobile devices aren't dedicated for games, they're just cell phones, and hey, you can download games too, so why buy a Nintendo handheld? And if you think Nintendo's doomed because the new PS4 and Xbox One models coming out will be even stronger, then you probably forgot that the PS Vita was far superior graphically than the 3DS and still didn't do very well. But on a side note, I love the PS Vita, and it's a damn shame Sony abandoned it. I think that the main reason the Wii U didn't do nearly as well as the 3DS, other than the poor marketing and name, was because, like I said before, graphics in video games are fine all around the board now, and gameplay is more important than ever. When you had a Super Nintendo, you could also get a Game Boy. It was portable, so you could bring your games on the go, but you sacrificed quality. Different versions of the same game on Game Boy were watered down, but it was a trade-off that you accepted. Same thing with the GameCube and Game Boy Advance, or even the Wii and DS. But porting games from the Wii U to 3DS isn't really that big of a downgrade. Well, for the most part. If Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon or Fire Emblem Awakening came out on the Wii U instead of the 3DS exactly how they are, I honestly don't think anybody would have complained about the quality. They even re-released Resident Evil Revelations on the Wii U and other home consoles. Think about how crazy it would have been in the 90s to just straight up port a Game Boy Color game to the Nintendo 64 without upgrading it. But that's exactly what they did here, further proving my point that there's no need for a company to have two consoles out at the same time competing with each other. People still do want to play Nintendo games, but if you're on a budget, then why wouldn't you buy the cheaper, portable console that has way more games that are also cheaper and about the same quality gameplay-wise with graphics that are really not noticeably different to the average gamer? If the Wii U had the same games and third-party support that the 3DS had and maybe lost the gamepad, I could see how that'd turn people off. Then I think the story for that console would have been different. And if the NX does exactly that, makes it less difficult to program games for, is portable, and has a graphical upgrade so that it's at the very least in the same ballpark as PS4 Pro and Project Scorpio, then I see no reason why Nintendo can't turn its bad home console fortunes around. Unless you count mobile devices, but I'll talk about that in a different video.
But Cameron, what if none of the rumors are true? People in the future watching this are gonna think you're a dumbass.
They already think that now. So tell us what you think in the comments. Is Nintendo onto something, or are their ass-backwards policies gonna hold them back once again?
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Tinder.
Like and favorite this video, share it with everyone you know.
Add it to some playlists, rewatch it every now and again.
Yeah, and if it was me, I wouldn't even skip the ads. I'd watch the whole thing and click on the links.
But we're not telling you to do that. We're not allowed to, according to Kristen. But you better do it.